Hi, my name is Rene Dosen and I'm from Montreal. Today's presentation is titled Holistic Wellness Meditation, What Hypnosis Has to Do with It. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a dowser and I started with dowsing in 1992 when I took my first training. This was back in Europe. Um, when I actually arrived in Canada in 1996, I enrolled in the studies of electrical engineering and I got my degree in 2001 and I'm Bachelor of Electrical Engineering. Then I decided to actually go into hypnosis and I found the National Guild of Hypnotists and this is where I got my first training in 2004 and became certified hypnotist. We call that actually Consulting Hypnotist, which is the current title that we use for what we do. Then I pursued those studies even more and became certified instructor for National Guild of Hypnotists in 2017. At the same time, I was an energy healer, and approximately at the same time when I started the dowsing, I started practicing energy healing styles. And one of the styles that I mostly use is bioenergy healing, which is very popular in Europe and not so much in North America yet. Also, I'm Inka Shamanism, and I did my training with Alberto Violdo first time in 2009. But then I also do Pranic Healing, Therapeutic Touch, and there are some other modalities as well that in my tool belt, I should say. Now let's switch to what can be done with hypnosis. Most people will always wonder if they can be hypnotized. But since most of the audience of this workshop would be dowsers, if you can use pendulum or other dowsing instrument, you are really in good shape. And if you don't understand what I mean by dowsing, then you need to find some dowsing friends for sure. What is the quick way to enter hypnosis? This is in a way that you, without moving your head and your eyes closed, you pretend that you can see the center of your forehead from the inside. This actually automatically starts producing alpha brain waves. And to demonstrate what I mean by that, as I close my eyes, you will see that I'm rolling my eyes all the way up as much as they can go and pretend that I can see the point on my forehead. And when this is happening, this is where we generate those alpha brain waves. Now, this approach that I'm presenting is how to find ways to release and relieve the emotion that's behind so-called dis-ease. And how we do that is we have to concentrate on the feeling that's behind our problem. How we do that is we simply address that feeling inside of us. And I usually simply use a sentence with my clients. And this goes this way. There is a feeling inside of you that you don't like. In the past, you tried to run away from it, but this time you will face this emotion. And this emotion is stored somewhere in your body. Become aware of it and where it is. And then we focus on finding out what that emotion is. Is it anger? Is it sadness? Is it fear or similar? Now, once we trace that emotion, we need to actually go back in time and find when this emotion affected us for the first time. Then what we will focus on is to see, hear, or feel where that emotion is bringing us. Then we have to see if it's at that moment of time when this is happening to us, are we inside or outside? Are we alone or are we with somebody? Are we standing up, sitting, or lying down? We become then aware of this whole scene. If, for instance, the emotion is sadness, we allow those tears to come out and we simply drain that sadness out of our system. If the emotion is anger, it's good to use the pillow and actually hit that emotion and allow it to dissipate from our system. When this is done, now we are ready to forgive. And the forgiveness is best done on the subconscious level. It's not enough in itself just to say, I forgive that person for what they did to me, because your subconscious mind needs to be okay with that. And that's why we have to do this process that I described before, because we have to let those emotions be released on both levels, from the conscious and our subconscious level. This we repeat, then we found out other emotions to release. And it's important to say that we have to make time or allow ourselves to go back and find instances of that emotion that was being generated inside of us, and then to find each moment and release that emotion if our subconscious mind is pointing us to that. Once we are able to release all of those emotions, then we are able to actually do the full forgiveness. And by doing that, then we are able to allow our system to accept all those positive suggestions for healing and to really improve the condition that we have. Once this is done, we are ready to address our soul parts, because according to shamanism theory, what happens is every time that we are emotionally triggered by some way or reason, part of our soul actually stays at that time frame. And so to actually enable us to heal properly, we need to invite those soul parts back into our lives. And this is done simply by talking to the soul parts that were left in those particular time frames, and simply asking them to reintegrate into the body and to actually give us the boost of energy that we will get by doing that. At this point, we are then ready to insert positive suggestions or affirmations, as they are also called. And our system is now ready to be reprogrammed with those positive suggestions. The rule is to repeat one idea at a time, and we do it 15 times, because this is the experimental way that different practitioners discovered is working properly after we do those 15 repetitions. That way the idea or suggestion is properly accepted by our subconscious minds. And one example of that would be how you do that is you tell yourself, I am now healed. Every day brings more and more positive energy that rejuvenates my whole body. And you can use different words, but the importance is that this is the same idea that's being repeated. Now we get to the another spiritual technique that we simply called removal of non-beneficial energy cords. In our everyday life, we constantly interact with different people. Non-physical contacts count as well. It's enough that we simply phone somebody or maybe do some Skype call or Zoom call, and this forms that invisible cord between the two or more people that are interacting with us. Those cords can actually be non-beneficial. It is known that some people can drain the energy from us and make us feel tired at the end of the day. So to remove those cords, it's enough to just imagine by closing your eyes that you use a very sharp tool that you can cut those cords with. Those cords can attach anywhere in our energetic body, but most common areas are in the solar plexus, heart, head, back or where our chakras are located. And chakras are energy centers of the body and are invisible to the average person. Then we come to the dowsing, and why is that important also in our life? we can do our best to use any type of healing that we can think about. But if we are going back to the place that we sleep on or work that's affected by geopathic stress, then no amount of healing will be enough for us to recover, because we will be coming back to the very stressful zone that can continue to deteriorate our health. For that reason, it's very useful to find some dowser, or if you are dowser yourself, to find if you are actually on some of those noxious zones or energy of that type. Now, the modern technology allows us to use Google Earth or some similar application to find a map of the location of where you live or where you work. And this is a modern version of what's called map dowsing. And so this allows you to find, because you can enlarge the area or make it smaller so that you have the ideal image to work on. And in this way, find how to find or those arrays, or just to be aware of where the problem is. And so now you use any dowsing instrument that you are familiar with to help you with that. And then you end up marking certain zones on that image from Google Earth. And this enables you to find where there is something that needs to be done on. So how do we neutralize that? Well, ideally, it's the best approach is to simply move away from those zones. But if this is not possible, then you can use certain techniques like simple decrease, where you neutralize by request those zones, or Mrs. Gladys McCoy teaches the method to use blue ink on the map of your apartment or place of where you live, and neutralize it in this way. So once this is neutralized, then we are on the path to really recovering our health. Now that we went through the theoretical aspect of how this works, let's select a problem or issue that we can work on. And let's not select something that's really life-threatening or that it's so difficult to resolve that even modern medicine has problem with it. Something that bothers you, but it's not really a critical issue. And when we have that, also it helps to know that it works better if we work with a partner, so that somebody can actually lead us into this procedure that I will explain, and you might decide to actually participate in. This way you have somebody that you can confide in, and this is a very important part of the process, because this helps to address the issue and to help you resolve it. So as we said, the first step is to enter that state of relaxation by creating alpha waves. Let's find a comfortable place that we can relax now. And when you're ready, just let your eyes be closed. And with your head straight ahead, pretend that you can see the inside of your forehead. For that, you need to roll your eyes all the way up. And when you do that, you will create those alpha waves that we need to start with our procedure. Now let's focus on the feeling that's behind the problem or the issue that we are addressing. And this is simply a way to do it is just to imagine that feeling inside of you that you have that's related to that problem or an issue. In the past, you tried to run away from it, but this time you will face it fully on. And this emotion is stored somewhere in your body. Become aware of where it is and what is that emotion. And then slowly allow yourself to travel back in time. See, hear, or feel where this emotion brings you. Are you inside or outside? Are you alone or with somebody? Are you standing up, sitting, or lying down? Now become aware of the whole scene. It's important that you address this very quickly without thinking too much about the answer. First answer that pops into your mind is the right one. So let's assume that the question that I ask you, are you inside or outside? The first thing that pops into your mind is outside. So you decide it's outside. Alone or with somebody? Somebody. Alone. So you are alone. Now, are you standing up, sitting, or lying down? Once you have those first initial information, then you are able to recreate the scene. And you become aware of that scene that happened somewhere in the past. And there is some feeling that's being generated inside of you. Now, in that scene, there are some people that are actually maybe helping you start feeling that feeling, or actually forcing you to feel that way. When you are aware of that, you can actually imagine that you can face that person or people that are making you feel that way. And you can actually talk back to them and explaining how you are feeling because of that, and what this actually created inside of you. Maybe this actually brought you some disease as a result. And now it's time for that to be addressed. And so as you are talking back to them, you're saying something like, how could you do this to me? Why did you react to me this way? You should have. And always you can experience a number of questions like that. And the point is that you release all that emotion out, so that you bring yourself to the point where you can be completely at ease and feeling peacefully about that situation and the person. Now, let's assume that this person actually created something in you, but you are not sure if that's actually the first time that this happened to you. So you are actually addressing that issue by asking yourself, is this the first time that I have this feeling in my life, or did that happen before? If the answer is yes, it happened before, then we move back to another scene before that one. And we go all the way back in time until we are certain that this is the first time that this emotion was started inside of you. And once you are certain, then we go again through the same procedure. We talk to that person, we tell them how they made us feel, and eventually we come to the point where we are completely peaceful and we are ready to move to the next step. And that next step is forgiveness. Now, this is coming now from the subconscious point of view, which is the right way to forgive that person or people that you are addressing. And when that happens, that forgiveness will actually have an effect, even physically, on you. You will be able to get rid of that negative feeling from the inside, and you will be able to feel completely at peace and become ready to forgive completely and utterly to that person. Now, once we are finished with that part of the process, we have to see if there are any other emotions related to that person or to that problem or issue that we are releasing. And since you are all dowsers, it helps that you actually use your dowsing instrument to make sure that you took care of all of those fragments of the problem or the issue. And once you're sure this is done, you are ready now to start giving yourself some positive suggestion. Because this is the point in the session that you will be able to accept those positive suggestions without any doubt that they will work, because you addressed everything that was preventing them from working so far. And when this happens, you will be able to have your subconscious mind fully accept the suggestions and make the desired change inside of your system. Now we come to the soul parts. Let's suppose that in the process that we did so far, you addressed a couple of different time frames where certain things happen. In each of those time frames, you left part of your soul that stayed in that time frame and drained the energy from yourself. Now you are able to simply call those parts of your soul back and allow them to reintegrate into your subconscious mind so that you energetically start functioning as one whole part of your organism. And once you're sure that all those parts reintegrated, we can move on. Sometimes those parts actually require some time for that process to be completed, and that's okay. You can allow that process to take its time, and you will be able to actually dowse the answer to how long it will take. And then you just go on with your life and allow this process to take care of itself automatically. Now we can also add some more positive suggestions. And at this point, they will have way more effect, and they will work beautifully at this step. And remember that you need to repeat those suggestions for about 15 times. In a way, I am now healed. Every day brings more and more positive energy, and that rejuvenates my whole body. We are now ready to cut those non-beneficial energy cords. Simply scan your whole energetic body with your eyes closed and see if there are any areas, like for instance your solar plexus, and imagine a very sharp tool that you can use to cut those cords one by one. You can also imagine that you're holding that cord in one hand and just cutting it with the other one. And just go throughout your body and you'll be able to scan and find where they are. And once this is done, you will certainly feel more energized and even more in control than before. Now, the other part that I mentioned requires dowsing, and this is simply something that can be done on the side of that session that we started, either by yourself or by your dowsing friend or even professional dowser, so that that person can find if there are any noxious energies in the place where you sleep or where you work or where you spend most of the time during the day. And once this is done, you are ready to neutralize or move from those areas that are causing you a problem. So, as I mentioned, you can use decrees or commands to actually give to maybe your spiritual guides or other entities that that can help you in that work, and simply ask them to neutralize those energies and make them positive or energetic or healing even. And in this way, you will find that your health will be improved tremendously by simply doing that. Well, thank you very much for this session, and I hope this was helpful and that you will be able to improve the quality of your life by following that. To get in touch with me, you can email me at rene.dosen@gmail.com. Go to my website at www.renehypnosis.com.